Creek Week.
Good afternoon or morning, depending on when you're taking this in.
Or night.
AC3. Could be nighttime.
Could be the wee
wonder
hours
of the internet.
of the
You
morning.
can take it in at your leisure when you want, because you got choices.
Choices. We're going to give you a choice.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, we're taking choices away. What I mean by that is the opposite.
We decided to be countercultural.
Yeah.
And where everyone's going with a multiplicity of choices, we're just narrowing it.
We're just going to take it away. What do they call it? Choice fatigue?
That's
or
right. There's
decision?
anxiety that's associated with it. We're helping you, actually.
Yeah.
We're reducing your choices,
Because
making
we-
your life better.
Because we love you, we're going to do this. So February 12th, we are going to do, coming up this Sunday, we're going to do a different church service.
Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Is it Super Bowl
Yeah.
Sunday?
Just to lodge it in space-time appropriately.
At the center of human experience.
Yeah.
That's the one with the 11 guys in the helmets, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're going to
It's
do...
a great high holy American day.
That's right. We're going to do something different. So if you come to Allen Creek here at the building, you will not get a sermon.
What?
Nope.
Why not?
You're fired for a week.
Okay.
You're not going to get any music.
What?
You're fired for a week.
You're fired too?
Fired for a week.
Okay.
There won't be announcements. There's not going to be anything going on corporately.
What on
in
earth?
the big room. We're unfuzzing the vision, right?
Yes.
So we're unfuzzing the vision on groups.
Got it.
And we think, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, why groups are important. But this just seemed like an opportunity to say, well, let's put our money where our mouth is, at least for a week.
Yeah.
one out of 52.
Well, a demonstration, right?
It is, yeah.
It's not like we're only doing groups this week, but the point is
Yes.
put them on center stage.
There we go. Right. And so what we're going to do is we're only meeting in groups. So what we've done is
Wait, that's Sunday. We're going to just meet in groups.
only groups.
Got it.
So the way we're going to set it up, I'm going to tell you now, and then I'm going to repeat it again.
Okay.
So if you're part of an Allen Creek small group, you're going to meet on Sunday the 12th with your group
Okay.
in whatever location your group normally meets. But you're going to meet at 10 a.m. on Sunday. That's going to take the place of the
Cool.
church service.
So if I was to say have my group on normally Tuesday nights at 7, I'm meeting that week Sunday at 10.
Absolutely.
Just as an act of solidarity.
Yep.
And just everybody getting unified
Yep.
around the vision of group.
Yep.
All
And
right.
now, if you're not part of a group, don't worry. There are several.
Oh, that's a
small-
big concern. Like,
Yep.
what if you just kind of walk in cold turkey? What are you going to do?
Well, there are several groups that meet here at the church
Oh,
building.
okay. Got it.
So they're going to be meeting here at 10 a.m. So you come in the door and you're not part of a group, then we're going to have some folks here that are going to say, well, hey, why don't you go join this group? And you'll be able to experience what it's like to be part of a group. And these are not just our e-groups, but also our community groups too, which they have various different reasons they come
Yeah.
together. So if you're part of an AC3 group, go to where your group meets at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. If you're not part of a group, come here and we'll get you hooked up with the group. And we're going to have brunch. There's going to be food
fantastic.
in every
Okay.
group where you go.
So-
Can't guarantee what kind of food it could be. It could be frozen Eggo waffles and grapefruit juice.
Okay.
Which
So
sounds
so if I'm not connected right now to a group, I've been hearing you talk about it all the time. I
Oh,
know
shut
this
him
is
up.
important. I know this matters. But is it going to be, awkward for me, or how are we going to do that?
Yes.
Walk in the door. Okay.
Yes. It's
So-
going to be a little awkward.
Just a little bit, because we're breaking
Yeah,
ice.
yeah.
That's why we call it breaking the ice.
And this is
right?
why I don't care who you are. Anybody who says they have no problem meeting new people, not true. Some of us, I would count myself one of them. It doesn't particularly put me off, but it takes some effort.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, is it going to be maybe a little difficult? Sure. But take it as a challenge, take it as an adventure.
Well, why would we do it if it's going to be challenging, Dan?
Well, because I think when you look at the New Testament, you said this last week.
I'm playing
I know.
setup guy.
I'm playing like I don't get it. So you said last week, circles are better than rows.
Yeah.
Right? So
I like that line. Not original with me, by the way.
Well, is there anything original
No.
with when we teach?
No.
No, not really. It's like, well, it's A, we didn't write the Bible. And then B, we're just really standing on the shoulders of a lot of other teachers. Anyway, so whoever said that first was really smart, because real spiritual transformation, because that's what we're talking about. Right? We always talk about there's two aspects to being the church: reach and teach. That's how we summarize the Great Commission in Matthew chapter 28. We got to get the word out to people.
Yep. Make new disciples.
Make new disciples. And then we've got to teach them everything that Jesus said.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really complex, nuanced order. Because we're not just talking about
getting knowledge into our heads.
Just saying, okay,
right?
can you recite?
Teach them the way. Love your neighbor, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you.
The worst people in the world can recite that stuff.
Yep.
In fact,
don't worry.
It's in the New Testament, right? Which says, even the demons believe and they shudder.
So it's about being changed. It's about being different kinds of people. Okay, and why, Dan, do groups uniquely foster this kind of transformation of our person, not just an increase in our knowledge?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, when it does come down to exchanging knowledge and whatnot, you can interact with the knowledge as opposed to in the surface.
Yeah.
This is good, and you should come to our weekend services. But what you're getting, it's broadcasting.
Yeah.
And so you're only receiving, and the teacher, whoever's up there, is broadcasting. So, there's study after study after study that shows we lose a large portion of that information over the next 24 hours. But when you can interact with the information, you can ask a follow-up question. And then you can say, please illustrate that for me. What does that look like? The information lodges better, and it lodges in the left side of your brain. It's in your left brain where rationality and language are. But here's another big thing. Not only do you learn better on your left side, but your right side learns better because you're making an attachment. That's your right side to somebody else.
It's a relational context.
Yes, and you're watching them do the thing you're talking about. So let's say you're in. Let's say you hear Pastor Rick get up and talk about forgiveness, and you go, "Yeah, that makes sense." And here's all the words Jesus talked about it right there in the Sermon on the Mount. In fact, it says, "God won't forgive me if I don't forgive others." Yikes! And then you forget it on Monday. Now, on Tuesday, you go to your small group, and somebody in your group says, yeah, my boss fired me, and it was terrible, and all that other stuff, and I'm going to forgive him. And you sit there and you go, wait a minute, how do you do that? Well, here's what I prayed about. This is what it feels like. And you can watch that. And then the next week you come back and you, wow, so this is what forgiveness looks like a week later. That's how we transform.
That's great. Yeah, that's really great. So this is why it matters, and I would say that this is one of our great learnings a couple of years ago where we said we've always had small groups. Allen Creek started as a small group. The first move that we made wasn't towards a public service even. The first move we made collectively was to birth a group out of an initial founding group.
We grew smaller.
We are all about grouping, always have been, and that's because the New Testament was all about grouping. But we just realized that we had to double down on that value. And especially in the light of the way that the culture's moving. The culture's moving more post-Christian and more cynical about the gospel and more family breakdown. Those are three massive moves in the culture that just underline again that we have got to emphasize the smallness of church as much as the bigness, that is to say the big gathering that we do weekly. So what we're getting in small groups, Dan, isn't just this knowledge application, which it definitely is, but we're also getting a kind of relational richness that is connecting people who are living in a disconnected world, disconnected relationally, disconnected by technology, and so we're coming against that stuff in real ways, and so therefore it's sort of a perfect solution for the storm of the culture that we're faced with.
That's a good way to put it. If you ask a biologist, they would say that humans are herd animals. If you ask an anthropologist, they'd say that we're tribal. And if you ask a theologian, a Christian theologian, we're the body of Christ, right? We just talked about that, about our spiritual giftings, that we were made. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You look at it through as an atheistic naturalist through a microscope. We're meant to be together. You look at it anyway. So that's a very
one of our greatest punishments is solitary confinement.
Right.
The worst thing we could do to a human.
Yeah. Now some of you are going, no, that's my dream. I want to be all by myself.
All the introverts.
Yeah, and look, having time away is important. It's always about balance. But we're made to be part of a community, and so walking that out is absolutely critical. And I love that you brought the COVID thing in. There's study after study coming out. We're now starting to figure out what we did to our kids.
Yeah, wow.
By not letting them socialize.
A monomaniacal fixation on one health issue to the exclusion of so many others.
I mean, we didn't know that was going to happen. Well, maybe we should have, maybe we shouldn't. That's why I'm not a public health official.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough, and I will cry if you write me letters. Or he wouldn't vote for me. That's why I work for a church, because
That's right.
I don't want to do anything controversial.
But you're our group guy, so we're trusting you with that.
Woohoo! Come and be here February 12th, or be in your group wherever it meets. Bring food.
And go Chiefs. I mean, go Eagles? That's right. I know this sport. How did I not get the teams right?
Because the Eagles are in Philadelphia, right?
That's right.
And they're part of our division.
Yes, our conference. Yes.
Because we're near Seattle.
Yes, we now cheer for them. Don't. Oh, damn. So much to explain, so little time.
I don't get it. Maybe I should take up
The
hockey.
National Conference is everywhere in America. The
But-
American Conference is also everywhere.
You can't have two things everywhere all at the same time.
But their divisions are geographic. So the Philadelphia is in our conference, but in a division that is
And
on
Jocks
the East
came up
Coast.
with this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Administrators. They have administrators.